my YouTube family, and welcome back to yet another video. This is a Photo Philosophy Friday topic. To those of you that are new on the channel, my name is Juan Londoño. Welcome. I am extremely excited about today's topic. Not that I am not excited about other topics and videos that we've done, but this one is really interesting to me. The topic for today is the photograph I never took. Now, when I say that, let me just start by telling you that it's not what many people might be thinking here. It's not the photograph that I never took that I'm looking at a magazine and looking at and just realize like, oh man, that's a beautiful image. I wish, I would have taken that image. I did think about traveling there one day. Not so much that type of the image I never took or the photograph I never took. Here, we're covering more the photograph that we could have taken or should have taken because we were either there or planning to go there. Really planning to go there. Maybe we were near the area and we just never got around to it. So it's kind of weighing in our head. Now, as human beings, we're not supposed to, but we have regrets. And some of us carry those around a lot longer than others. Regrets might be, for example, for somebody like me, it might be something in my past, like the girl I never dated. Some girl that I liked in, junior high school or high school, and I never got the courage to ask her out. And who knows what would have happened, right? But I'll never find out because I never asked. For others, it might be a career opportunity that they never took. Maybe they had two offers, job interviews, and they had two offers and they took one and they were always skeptical about that other job they never took, right? So these are the regrets we carry around with us, and really we shouldn't, right? Because you're going to hear this in this video a couple times. Things are meant to happen the way they do, and the way the outcome turns out is the way it probably should have. So let's dive right into this topic. So as photographers, we also are plagued with some small regrets maybe. And what do those look like? Well, they might look something like this. The camera I never owned. So what is that? Well, it's maybe when I was younger, there was a camera I was looking at that I never purchased. Too late now, because those were the film days and that's behind me. There was actually a camera that I wanted that I never purchased. And you know what? I could go buy it now, but it's a moot point because the world is digital now, and getting that film camera is going to look nice on the shelf. Maybe I'll do it anyway, but I wanted to buy it to use it, right? So that kind of regret. Another one might be the lens I never purchased. Maybe there were opportunities that I came across that would have turned out differently if I had that lens, right? You're probably familiar with this. You go somewhere and you have a couple of lenses, maybe either because that's what you chose to take that day or because that's all you had to take that day. Whatever the reason, you get there and you go, oh, I need to get close up and I don't have that ability today. Or I need a really wide angle. I can't really back up here. What am I going to do? I'm stuck with what I have, right? So it's that lens that we should have purchased either long term and we never did. Now, can you still? Maybe. Or short term, right? You needed it for that particular moment. You were traveling abroad, you didn't take that with you, and here you are. The opportunity is pristine for that photograph that includes a lens you don't have with you because you never purchased it. It might also be the places I never visited, right? Now, that's a little more of a problem if we're getting to the end of our life, of course, and we're sitting or laying in bed and thinking, oh my gosh, the places I never, and we should never, I'm not condoning any of this, by the way. We should never have that type of regret. Like I said earlier, our life takes the path that it should take, and whatever decisions we made, that's fine. That's what we live with, and that's what we grow from, and those decisions shaped our life. So don't go back there and talk about in your mind to yourself the things that you didn't do and should have done and would have done and could have done. It's not healthy. But to a small degree as photographers, we have, and I'm pointing some of these out, right? And I'm dramatizing some of these. They don't need that much drama, but I'm trying to make a point as well. So definitely those places that, I could have visited. Now, let me tell you a story about that one. Of course, if I'm sitting here going, oh, it would have been nice. I should have visited Greece or I should have visited Turkey, right? Well, I still can. I could put some money away and go next year. But here's the thing, was it during an event that's never going to take place again? Because then you missed it, right? And that's what I'm kind of talking about. Here's a true story. So my friend, I hope he ends up watching this video so he can correct me, because I have a small doubt here. He was with either his fiancée or his girlfriend, and we both grew up a part of our lives in New York City. And I met him in New York City. He was new to New York City in college, and he was taking his girlfriend or fiancée for a ride around the city. She was in town, and they were in the car, and she looked up and said, "Oh, the World Trade Center, right? You know, it'd be nice to go visit." And he looked at her, actually this way because he's driving and we're in the States. He looked at her and smiled and said, "Don't worry, we're going to get a chance to go there. I mean, it's the World Trade Center, right? It's not going anywhere." Well, this was a Sunday, and that Monday, the World Trade Center was no longer there. And the worst part about this is that it's a true story. So, is she thinking that's the photograph I missed, or a place that I could have been to? Absolutely, right? Yes, you can buy photographs of the World Trade Center. You can buy photographs from the World Trade Center. I'm very grateful that everybody that came to visit in New York, I took them to the World Trade Center, and we went to the top, and I probably have 1,000 pictures between pictures of the building and from the building, and taken mostly with film. But not everybody got that opportunity, right? I'm sure there were people thinking, man, I wanted to go to the city that year. They're in another country, and they didn't get a chance, and now the World Trade Center is not there. And, there was nothing there for a very long time, right? Till the Liberty Tower came up. So I'm sure I left a lot of people with, some bad thoughts. But now, today's topic, add to the already existing misery of us being humans and dragging these things with us, from year to year, add to that the photograph that I never took. And as we discussed, it might be because of any of the 3 previous points discussed, because you didn't buy a certain camera that you needed for that particular type of photography, or you didn't have that lens to take that particular type of picture, or you didn't get to the place that you needed to be in to take that photograph. But we're not going to discuss those. We're going to discuss something else. So what we're discussing today is more like, I'm a street photographer, and here I am walking in the city, or wherever, in a town. Or put yourself in this situation, right? You're the street photographer for the day, and you're walking in the city or a town. And this has happened, by the way, because I've spoken to street photographers that have not done this. And we're walking, and the perfect opportunity comes where we're looking into our camera, and this person is coming right at us. And this person has a spectacular look, whether it's what they're wearing or how they're wearing it, or what the background is saying, or their eyes, or maybe they cracked a smile right at us. And then that in combination with the backdrop and the shadows and oh my gosh, and the leading lines, this is like the perfect time to snap that picture. But for that 1 second, whether it's us imagining this or the real photographer that, has experienced this, including the ones that have mentioned it to me, for whatever reason, the picture wasn't snapped. Probably because they expected some kind of confrontation if they did, and nobody likes confrontation, right? Maybe it was too close and it was a little uncomfortable. Maybe it was just too obvious, and we try to be a little more discreet. Whatever the reason, the picture wasn't taken. And now you sit back at your computer and you look at the pictures you took that day, and that picture's missing. The picture or the photograph I didn't take. It also might be because of a time of day. You're traveling to another country. You're supposed to get up at 5 in the morning so you can make it to the beach for that sunrise because it's your last day in that area. And you sleep a little longer that day. You hit that snooze button. You wake up later and you go to the beach anyway, but it's the middle of the morning at that point. It's 9 a.m. You missed it. You missed the sunrise, and then you fly back. Can you go back another day? Yeah, of course. But you're always going to have in your mind that sky that day because it was cloudy and it was beautiful and the sun was breaking through. And I wonder what those pictures would have looked like. I wonder what that picture that I didn't take would have looked like. If you're a wedding photographer, maybe it was that picture you didn't take of the groom and the bride, right? Or bride and groom. Ladies first. Maybe it was that picture that you were about to snap in the garden when the wedding planner came out and said, you guys are 10 minutes over, you need to come back right now because people are upset. And you put your camera down and you say, come on, let's go. I don't want to get you guys in trouble. And you were originally slated 45 minutes to do the pictures of them, but it got cut down to, to 20, and you were maybe 25 minutes in, and you still needed a little more time, right? This happens all the time if you're a wedding photographer. I've been cut from an hour down to 15 minutes, where they told me you had 15 minutes to spend with the bride and the groom, and you make the best of it. And if you went 5 minutes over, they were upset because now you were at 20 when you originally were slated an hour, right? But everything's falling behind like it does many times in weddings. So that's the picture that I didn't take. And I'm going to look at that album when it's all done, said and done, and I'm going to be very proud of the pictures that I took at that wedding, as many times we are. But there's something in my mind about that picture that's missing, that I knew that I wanted to take, because everything was right. The light was right, the bride was right, the groom was into it, and they were willing to do this picture that not everybody agrees to, whatever it is, right? I've taken pictures of bride and grooms in fancy bathtubs, fully dressed. Some people won't do that. What if you're about to do that and then you get called and you back out, right? There's nothing you could do at that point. My daughter just snuck a little sign under the door because I was filming. She didn't want to make noise, asking me what I wanted to eat because my wife is coming home. I thought that was such a wonderful gesture, quietly, so she wouldn't make any noise. Kids are wonderful. And lastly, we talk about places you visited, right? Either that one place that you didn't stop by and you could have, maybe it was on the way, maybe you were just tired of driving, you looked and said, you know what, that looks like it'll be a beautiful picture. I've seen this picture before in books and magazines, and I'm just too tired. I want to get back to the hotel. We leave in the morning. And then you get there and you start asking yourself, second guessing, what would it have taken me to just pull over and take a few pictures for 10 minutes? Once I was there, I would have enjoyed it anyway. Time would have flown like it always does when you're having a good time and you're taking pictures. Why didn't I stop? Why? The photograph I didn't take. So whatever the reason, whatever the situation, don't feel guilt or regret. Just remember, whatever path you chose that day, that's the path you chose for a reason. And we're going to talk about some of those reasons now. For that street photographer we just talked about, even though they missed that one shot of that person kind of in their face, right? What ended up happening most likely, because this is how I am, and I'm sure everybody's not too different, what ended up happening probably over the years, right? Months, weeks, whatever, is that they wanted to recreate that shot that they missed. And they have probably at this point, when a year or 2 years have gone by and more street photography has gone by, they've probably at that point taken a dozen other similar pictures of people walking right up to them in their face where they're almost in the way, right? And I can guarantee you some of them are even better than the original one that they missed. But because they missed it, it's here and it doesn't get out and it bothers us. And it's that photograph that we didn't take. And we have to let go of that because it's kind of like a little bit of poison. Because now you're pursuing something that you've already mastered. And what I mean by that is you've already taken another dozen pictures, maybe even in the same place because you went back there first and you took, a dozen pictures there, and then you moved on to other cities and towns and you've taken similar pictures. And I bet you some of those are way better than that original one. Because the truth is, we'll never know if that original one would have worked or not. You know how many times a street photographer will be in that situation? Will snap a picture and it's blurry and that's it. The person has walked by. It's gone. Talk about the moment, right? You're not sitting there shooting a landscape where you can take 10 of them and every one that you don't like you redo and you adjust your aperture and you adjust the depth of field and the ISO and the coloration and everything, right? No. The person is gone. They just walked right by you. It's blurry. You screwed that up. Oh well, you got to move on, right? But in that situation, you kind of say, well, I did my best. Why is that any different? Right? Why is that any different? So you didn't take the shot. Okay, well, just pretend that it came out blurry. But I know that here, it doesn't work that way. I'm not going to pretend because it's not what happened. I didn't take the shot. Okay, then let's learn from that. I didn't take the shot. The next time, I'm taking the shot. Remember, mistakes are meant to be learned from, not to be hung from. We don't want to be hung for our mistakes. We want to learn from our mistakes, right? Let's simply analyze what happened, and let's use it moving forward. Maybe as we spoke earlier about the travels, maybe the next time we travel, we'll be better prepared. Or maybe for wedding photographers, if we're in that situation, the next time we encounter that, we'll squeeze another 5 or 10 minutes out of that wedding planner that's rushing us, right? I've done that too. And to make up for it, after I get back indoors, I give her a big hug. And I say, you know what, I'm sorry, but we needed to do this. We needed to get those last pictures. And they'll usually kind of, smirk or laugh and say, I know, I understand. But you're pushing my luck here, right? You're pushing my patience or something like that, right? But you can always make up for it with a hug. And maybe for those early shots, we'll make an effort the next time to hit that city or that beach a little earlier so we get that shot we need. I know that if you do street photography at all, getting those really early shots or really late shots is very important because that light is more dramatic. When the light is up at, in the middle of the sky, you can do some good work too, right? Don't ever let that stop you. Don't ever let rain and snow stop you either, because you get some really good shots there as well. And people usually shy away from those. They'd rather cuddle up at home, watch a movie, and get some food like I'm about to get. But don't let that stop you. This was a short video, hopefully not too long, about self-awareness and forgiveness, mainly. Take it easy on yourself. Don't worry too much because there's always going to be somebody else beating you up. So why waste your time beating yourself up? And most importantly, photography is art, right? I think most of us agree with that now. I have a video that touches on that topic. Photography is art. And art is meant to be enjoyed. You're meant to have fun with art. We have reached our conclusion for today. Sorry I didn't bring up the water. I have been drinking water in the breaks. I just didn't want to interrupt the video. There was no really good place to interrupt it and talk about water. I hope you've been drinking your water. For those of you that are new, that's something we do. We pause the video and whoever forgot their water goes and gets their water because it's yummy and we need it. So thank you very much for your time. As always, it's greatly appreciated. I hope you like the video down below. I hope you subscribe also down below to your right. Click the little notification bell so you get signaled when a new video comes out. Please leave me comments. I love comments. I respond. If you have any questions, and share this with anybody you feel might appreciate it. Until the next video, love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Ciao for now.